You know what, MCs? The audio is just part of the podcast experience. Sometimes you need the facial expressions, the hand gestures. You need to see our faces so the jokes land. So head on over to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/the It's Marceia Cork, right now to watch the visuals alongside these episodes. You can enjoy newly available video of my past episodes and subscribe so you can get notified as soon as this episode becomes available next week. So that's youtube.com/It's Marceia Cork. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you there. Bye-bye. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. Listen, you've heard my hashtag different, better, more. What will you do differently, better, or more of in 2023? Some of you have already committed to healing from grief by working with me and my non-clinical approach to grief recovery and support. But for those of you who want to round out your healing with a clinical approach, there's BetterHelp and their network of over 25,000 licensed therapists. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. To get started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether that's by text, by chat, phone, or even video. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom picked for you, with more scheduling flexibility and at a much more affordable price. Use this link to get 10% off your first month. BetterHelp.com/C-words. That's better, HELP.com/C-words.
Listen, I really thought that like she wouldn't catch cancer again. I thought it was gone the first time. It was uterine cancer. So the second time when she got it, we were like, she was like, I'm still fighting. And we were with her, went to her radiation appointments, brachytherapy, all that good stuff. And it wasn't until, I remember being in those moments with her, and she started doing some things where it was like, she was like, I got to pay this, I got to pay that, I got to pay this. And she was doing different things around the house. And I was like, why the rush? Like, we're fine. Yeah. We have time. And in that very same weekend, those were the last time she was able to voice something to us. And then she passed the very next week.
Listen, grief doesn't have to be grim. That's why when I talk about it on this podcast, it's about dealing with grief and loss in a way that influences the changes you want to make in your life. As you heal, what do you want to do next? Make a professional pivot, end a toxic relationship or friendship? I want you to have the confidence to navigate change. These are real stories from my one-on-one coaching sessions and my inspiring interviews with change makers. I'm Marceia Cork, the change coach, and this is Ooh, those effing C-words. MCs, welcome back. I am Marceia Cork, the change coach. Welcome to another episode of Ooh, those effing C-words. Now listen, I don't know for sure, but I think I might have been set up, okay? I think today's guest tried to throw me off my interview game to see if I would rise to the occasion. We had a minor scheduling snafu, which made me have to seize the moment and catch her while she was available, but I could not be more excited. I am here today with Tiffany Lady T Watson. All right? Yeah. If you're in the DMV area, then you know that Lady T truly brings all of the charm to the Charm City and surrounding areas. She is an Emmy-nominated TV host, on-air talent at FOX45. We tune into FOX45's BMore Lifestyle for Lady T's Spilling the Tea with Lady T. And let me tell you, she has also been featured on Hot 99.5's The Kane Show and on TMZ Live as a guest contributor. And now Lady T is in the hot seat.
What up?
Yeah, the interviewer is becoming the interviewee today.
I love it. I like this. I'm like, this is different. I'm usually the one asking the questions, and I'm like, this is fun. Hey.
Yeah, and I want to keep it fun. I want it to be conversational. I like these
Okay.
conversations. I like it to be just that. I don't
Yeah,
want it to feel like Q&A. Okay.
of course, of
So
course.
the one thing I try to do is have them kind of take a past, present, future kind of format. So
Ooh.
I did, share some questions, some topics to kind of drive the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just going to pepper those in. So I
Okay,
really
girl.
want you to just take the lead in the conversation. I like to start with any life-changing moments, life events, any trials, hardships that may have shaped who you are,
Mm-hmm.
may have shaped your personality, shaped the work that you do today. So I want to start there. Tell us a bit about Lady T, little Lady T, growing
Little
up.
lady T.
Yeah.
Girl, I was a fireball when I was younger. So it was,
Okay.
this is definitely, first of all, let me just say I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I know we have a mutual connection.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
and so it's good to finally like see you, like, hopefully we can meet face to face eventually. But yes,
I would love
this
to.
is such
Yeah.
an honor. But yes, no, little lady T was a fireball. Little lady T was always cracking jokes, and she used to walk her pretend dog and carry a purse.
Not a pretend dog.
Listen, it wasn't even real. It wasn't even a real dog.
Stop. Okay, wait. So how old were you?
Listen, I think they said it started when I was like maybe 4 or 5 years old. And
Okay.
I did this crazy stuff. I used to pretend I had a microphone in my hand.
I used to do
I used to
that.
be interviewing my teddy bears. I would walk
Mhm.
this pretend dog and with my purse and pretend I'm taking the train and just looking fabulous. Like,
Love it.
I don't know who I thought I was when I was younger, but like my family always says that I was clearly destined to be somebody like amazing, somebody great.
Yeah.
And they always saw me as this star. So that was
Mhm.
one thing I remember as from a child perspective. I grew up in New York.
Mhm.
I grew up in Queens.
Okay.
Yeah, so I grew up in New York. I grew up in Queens, and I went back and forth between me and my parents' house, and my aunt lived
Mhm.
in Harlem.
Okay.
So shout out to Queens and Harlem. Hey, so
Hey.
honestly, broadcast, I feel like shaped my life. Like I used to
Mhm.
listen to the radio a lot when I was younger, and I used to love listening to Angie Martinez on like Hot 87, Funk Master
Mhm.
Flex. I used to love listening to just radio, and then
Yeah.
I was like, I loved watching Oprah. So my mom was an
Okay.
Oprah fan, like die hard, like 4 o'clock every
Every
day.
day. Uh-huh.
Like whether you had homework or not, my mom was like, turn that TV on to
Mhm.
Oprah. Put on the O,
The
like the
O.
O. It was so like my mom love. Like she loved Oprah. So I
Mhm.
grew up on that. So it's like I feel like broadcast surrounded me. So
Yeah.
basically, what shaped me, I have to say, is partially my mom. God rest her soul. She died a year and a half ago to
Mm.
uterine cancer. And
Okay.
that woman shaped me though. She shaped me to be like who I am today. She was always in everything. When I opened for Kev on stage, she was front and center recording it.
Mhm.
Um, when I changed my major, oh Lord, she was mad. I was doing law, and then I switched to communications, and I didn't tell her for like maybe a year or two because I knew she was going. My mom is West Indian. They're West Indian. They're
Okay.
Guyanese.
Okay.
They're
Uh-huh.
from Guyana, South America.
Okay.
So, West Indian and Caribbean people don't play.
Yeah.
So, she was really mad when I changed my major, but I started to excel. So she was like, oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
But my mom she was like,
It's
oh, okay,
always
cool.
good when it turns out right.
Listen, it's always when it turns out good, right? She threatened to stop paying my student loans. She was like, I want my name off of this student loan. My mom was, she was feisty.
Yeah.
But the woman shaped me to be who I am today. She's been there every step of the way. And I have to say that was a major life-changing event for me when I lost her, because she was my
Mm.
number one fan. And
Yeah.
it was kind of like, how do I keep going, without her? It was like, even in her last days, I had to host the BMore Lifestyle show. And they
Mhm.
said that she was so responsive in the hospital whenever,
Mhm.
I would pop on the screen. But
Oh, wow.
yes, and it made me
Yeah.
feel good. And I was like, dang, like, so she really shaped me to be who I am today. And I think that was a life-changing event when I lost her, because it was like,
Mm.
okay, can I give up now? But even in spirit, I feel like she still pushes me a lot. So I can't really give up. I got to keep going and stay the course. I got to stay the path. So
You hear that voice in your ear constantly, right?
yes, I hear the voice of my ear, and she is very feisty still in spirit. And she's just like, you better keep going. You came this far.
Yeah.
It's too late to give up now at this point. Like, she's just like, no, stay the course. So
I love that.
She still encourages me even in spirit. So that was definitely a life-changing event. So yeah, and now I get to be here with you. So yes.
I love that. I love that. So tell me more. So we're focusing on your childhood still, seeing that in your personality, seeing you walking this dog, seeing you carrying your purse, creating these imaginary characters,
Girl, that was a mess.
probably imaginary interviews and everything. So did she at least see the potential in it? And, you made the decision later to pursue a career in entertainment or communications, but did she nurture it growing up, or did the people
she was
around
like,
you nurture
no, you
it?
got to do no. Cause like with Caribbean and West Indian parents, they really want you to be doctors and lawyers.
Yeah.
Or just anything in healthcare. Doctors, lawyers, anything in healthcare. That was the focus. So my sister was supposed to be in healthcare. She was supposed to be a nurse. My sister, she's older than me, and she changed her major from being a nurse to a teacher. So that was a girl. That's where we initially had messed up.
It's coming from everywhere.
So she did that, and then I had the nerve to switch my major. So it was like, so no, she was like, absolutely not. You are not going to be doing anything with this. And I said, but I really wanted to. I thought I was going to be a radio host. I thought I was going to be Quicksilver and Angie Ange. I thought I was going to be Russ Parr. Oh my God. I look up to Russ Parr. I love him on 93.9. Now he's on 102.3 or 103.5. But yes, oh my gosh, Russ Parr morning show. I thought I was going to be like a radio host. I thought I was going to be Donnie Simpson. But my mom was like, no, stick to the law. And so she was like, no, but it wasn't until I changed my major and I started doing better. That's when she was like, oh, I can
taking this seriously.
I can see you doing this. Like this, you're for real. Like I told her, I said, this is my dream. This is my destiny. I never forget. I kept having dreams in my head of what I looked like. I was sitting on a couch and I was hosting a show, and I kept having these dreams, and I kept telling her, and I was like, I think that's the way I'm supposed to be going. Like I kept telling her, and she was just like, stick to law. It's guaranteed. And Caribbean parents always tell you need a guaranteed job.
Gotcha.
So there was nothing I could do.
Who nurtured that for you then? It has to come from somewhere to stay the pet.
Auntie. That was
auntie.
Girl, it was auntie. My aunt is a pastor.
Okay.
And whatever my mom was saying, my aunt came in on the slide and was like, if God has that for you, it's for you. So my auntie nurtured it. She said, So she was basically in the background just telling me, keep going, keep going, keep going. She'll see. And then to eventually have both of them on my side, that was great, but auntie was the one who, she definitely was the one who constantly she nurtured it. She was like, I see it. I would be like, hey, I'd be like, auntie, I had this dream and I saw, she said, that's it. She said, God's talking to you. And she would just continuously she nurtured it, I have to say. And then people I met, I've had, just encouraging people in my life. I've had Chardell Moore, the previous host of our lifestyle show. She was like, I see great things in your future. She was like, here's what you're going to do. And every step she gave me, I followed. I think that was 2015 when I met her.
Okay.
And she was like, I feel like I know you. And I was like, I don't know why we feel like that, but I feel like there's a connection here. And since then, every step she's telling me to do, any task she's giving me, I just do it. And I get a blessing out of it. Literally something good comes out of it, opportunity. And she's just like, I'm telling you, I feel like I know where you're going. I see where God is taking you. Look, I've had some people in my life. It's good to keep those folks in your life who believe in you.
Absolutely.
They're like, I see the potential. I see where you're going. I see it. So I'm sticking with it. So, those are the people who I've had.
Exactly. And that's specifically why I ask, because we are very late to the game of mentorship, right?
Yes.
We know the importance not until so much later in our lives, the value in having a mentor, having someone who does the work that you want to do, is already in the circles you want to be in, someone who's going to, as I've been saying, mention your name when you're not in the room. You know, we need those people. So it's great that you had someone, even if not in childhood, but early enough in your life to help you set the course and help kind of charter that territory.
It helps. It helps you as you're growing too.
Yeah.
Because you know, when you're being shown certain things and you're like, I can see where I'm going.
Yeah.
And it's like when you tell someone that and they believe you, it just makes you feel like you can do anything.
Validated. Right. Yeah.
I feel like I can tackle anything. I feel like I can do anything. I feel like I'm built for this. Like,
you
ever felt like that? Like I was like, oh, I can do this. I can do this. I remember telling my best friend one time, and I was like, I can feel in my veins that like something great is about to happen for me, but I couldn't tell what it was. And she was like, I always think back to that day. She was like, you're literally doing everything you said you were going to do. And so living that out, it's a blessing. Living that out every single day, honestly, it's just a blessing. But they all knew. They were like, you're so funny. You're hilarious. Like, I wish you could do something with this, but we don't know what. Like, you know, it was just.
Did teachers nurture that in school?
Yeah.
Did any teachers nurture that?
In my professors, I would say, but
but not in the
professors. They did, you know, it was the reason I changed my major was because I met this counselor at Bowie State University. I went to Bowie State University, which is like right here in Maryland. HBCU. Okay.
I hear you.
I want someone to get caught up. Let me stop. But
I got 2 years at a HBU, 2 strong years.
Come on now. Look, we survived. We survived the HBCU. Okay, let me stop. But no, I met this. You're going to think this is crazy, but I always tell this story because there was this. So it was mandatory in Bowie State for you to meet with a counselor. Okay. And the counselor is supposed to, your freshman year, you're supposed to be advised during your freshman seminar class as to like what you're going to do. Yes. You have to be advised as to what you're going to do. So in addition to having an advisor, they were like, you need to go see this counselor. And I was like, oh, this is stupid. But I still went. And it was I remember she had this huge red sweater on. It was a Black woman. And she had this short wig on. And she had like a long jean skirt. And she let me know about myself. I was telling her what I'm going to do because I felt like it was a waste of time to be there. I was like, sis, I'm majoring in law. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make sure I become a lawyer. And she started asking me questions like, well, what part of law are you going to study? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I was like, I don't know. And she was like, okay. She was like, do you know like what part of it you are focused on? And I was like, there's different parts. Like sis laid me out. I was so embarrassed. I really didn't know a lot about law, but I just knew I had to take it and focus on it. Right. And she was like, why are you taking this? Like, why is this your major? And I was like, oh, because my mom said so. And she was like, that is not the way to go with this. She was like, is your mom going to be taking your courses for you? And I was like, oh, you want to tell her that? Because apparently this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And she was like, what do you really want to do? I said, ma'am, I thought I was going to be a radio host. I thought I was going to be the best thing that's ever hit media. And I was like, but my mom said it's not a guaranteed job, so I should stick with this. And she was like, your mom is not going to be the one to be taking these courses. Your mom isn't going to be the one that has to live your life specifically. She was like, so you need to make a decision. She was like, if you want to do communications and broadcast journalism, you need to focus on that. And she was like, you need to go switch your major right now. And I was like, okay. And she told me she just was straight up with me. It's not what you want to do. So don't do that. And I don't know, she laid me out, I felt like, but it was a life-changing experience because I literally went and changed my major that day. Wow. Like, I changed my major that day. By like 4:00, I had met the communications director. Like I had switched my major, and that's why I didn't tell anybody for like maybe a year and a half and 2 years. I didn't want to get a half. Okay, I didn't tell them. I told my aunt, I told the rest of my family knew, and they were waiting for the ball to drop. They were like, when are you going to tell your mom? Like,
Oh my goodness.
this is major. My mom was like, girl, she was mad. She was
I mean, you got to show report cards.
I was getting I was getting better grades, I could say. Like, she was like, oh my gosh, Dean's List again, but she didn't know it was because I had changed.
Okay, so she's not analyzing the report card. She's not looking at the courses you've taken.
Just like, oh, this is amazing.
Okay.
Like, you're doing so well.
Wow.
It was so embarrassing, but I was like, and everybody in my family knew. They were like, oh, when you gonna tell her, blah, blah, blah. So I finally, when I told her, she was just like, she was so sad and disappointed. But that counselor, like, really, I can't find her. And the weirdest
I was going to ask you, do you know where she is now?
I don't know where she is. After that one day, I ain't seen sis since.
Oh my goodness.
That's why I say it's a crazy story. I don't know what to. I don't know.
That's the angel that appears in the Lifetime movie and changes the course of your life.
Right. And I'm like, I promise you, I saw her. She signed my paper, so I know that she was real and existed. But I could not find her again ever since then. And I always tell this story because I'm just like, one day I would like to find her. I do not know who she was, but shout out to whatever counselor that was. That was 2007, Bowie State University, freshman seminar, and sis changed my life because I changed my major that very day that she told me to. So I wish I could find her one day to thank her, but yeah, it's changed my life ever since.
I love that story. That was amazing. What do they call?
It's weird. I try not to weird people out with it, but she's really the reason why I did this. I was like, man.
It's on the tip of my tongue. What do they call it? You know, the Morgan Freeman's in the movie, the black man, the black mysterious. You know, I can't remember what they call it, but it's
it's like
that
a
person,
mystical something.
Mystical, exactly. They appear at the right time. They give you guidance and wisdom,
and then
disappear. Yeah,
I really tried looking for her while I was at campus and I was about to graduate. I was looking for her, and I could not find her because I went on to get an internship at High 95, and Kane, you know, God rest his soul too. Kane let me on air. He let me do a segment on air. It was just, I had jumped off to doing so many different things, and like, I don't know, it jump started my career there. So I was really hoping to find her to tell her this, but I can't find her.
I interviewed Jay Phoenix, a music producer, a couple of weeks ago, and he said that he went back to Duke Ellington to make sure that he told the teacher that told him he would have a career in music, because I think he pursued IT or something outside of it. But he remembers the conversation with that instructor who said, you're going to be in music. You should be doing music. So went back
those
to people
who know, and they know you so well. They're like, I can see your gifts. I wish you see it too. And it's like, your mind is focused on the wrong thing. So
I think they see themselves in you. They see themselves when they were younger. And they see that same drive, that same passion and enthusiasm in you, and want to get you on track before you veer off course.
It's true. It's true. I think my focus when I was younger was, I'm really good at like English and language arts. So my focus was, I wrote like a book for my class that my teacher was super impressed with. And it was, and everybody was like, I can't believe you wrote this, but it was like just a girl playing, and she just, the devil popped out on her, and he kept trying to make her do bad things. And then she was like, nope, I don't want to. So I'm throwing him back down in this, in this sewage hole that he came out of. And it was just like the most hilarious story. And I was like, oh yeah, so maybe I have a future in English. And then they were like, English and law. So people try to put you in a box of what they think you're good at. Just you can be good at multiple things, but don't let people put you in a box. That's what I learned.
And I guess it's with good intentions. They want to put you on the path to success.
But it's not for you. If it's and you know it, but you're just going along with it.
Right.
That's the worst part. We go along with it like it's gonna work. It's not. Yeah.
So the career choice. So that happened much later. You leaned into it in college with
Yeah.
support and encourage of this mysterious fictional creature,
This angel. I'm like,
this
where'd she come
angel that
from?
appeared
Yes.
from out of nowhere.
Hmm.
And then, so you mentioned a few internships, some really great internships. And although
Yeah.
your career is somewhat unconventional, there are a lot of people that go into communications and have their sights set on
Hmm.
this type of career, in entertainment.
Oh, right.
So walk us through the process of actually being able to secure these really good internships, the relationships that
Oh,
you have to
girl.
form
It was
in
rough.
college.
It is
Okay,
not easy. It
talk
is
about
not
that.
easy. It is rough. And when I do, usually the Capital Emmys, they have this NATAS, and you get to talk to different journalists who are up and coming or
Mhm.
who are just starting off. And I'm very real with them when I have these conversations with them. And I just want to let people know that I didn't take the normal route or
Okay,
whatever it is you're supposed to do.
okay.
I was all over the place. Like I literally was just let me see. I got the Hot 95 internship, and that was first semester. And I was helping Kane's show and Sarah's show, and I still shout out to Sarah Fraser. I still follow her. She's doing amazing. But I had that, and I was doing that internship, and then it was like, okay, well, what's next?
Mhm.
And then it was like, okay, now you're supposed to apply for jobs. So I was applying for jobs, and I was like, man, I can't get anything. I was desperately every day I woke up, I was job hunting 8 to 5 p.m. It was like
Mhm.
a job hunting. It was
And
job
what type of
hunting.
jobs are you looking for?
So at that point in time, I was looking for anything in radio, TV, and
Okay.
because I only
As a
had
personality, as a producer, as a writer,
anything. I was
anything.
like, come on,
Okay.
hire a sister. I did all of these things. I'm well known. I'm Lady T. I'm like,
Mhm.
and then it's like, we're good. I just wasn't hearing back. And then I
Mm.
was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I thought I had this in the bag. I was built
Yeah.
up. I was like, oh, this is great. But then I ended up going back to school, and I ended up going to Full Sail University,
Okay.
which is
Mm,
in Winter
okay.
Park, Florida. I did that online.
Mhm.
And boy, did they whip me into journalism shape.
Okay.
Like it was a 1 year program. They sent you a video camera, and like you had to cover different stories every single week. Like every week
Okay.
we were covering a new story. It was crazy.
And were you
Um,
responsible for finding your own story as well?
and you had to pitch like what story you wanted to do.
Okay.
But also they were like, oh yeah, this sounds good. Like pursue that. And
Okay.
you would have to turn it in by Sunday night, 11:59 p.m. Sometimes it'd be Monday. But
Mhm.
they were very strict because they sent you the equipment. So it's not like you can't do it. They
Yeah.
sent you the equipment. They sent us a Sony HD camera, a MacBook computer. They sent us everything you needed in this launch box. And
Okay.
you're like, okay. They taught me how to edit video. They taught me how to do so much with this
Mhm.
school. And they literally like find an event to cover, find an
Mhm.
important person to cover. There was like several stories that really stuck out to me. And I realized that like I was like, oh, I like this. I could really do this. And then I
Okay.
was like, okay, now that I've gotten I was valedictorian. I was also advanced achiever. I got
Awesome.
the advanced achiever award, which is the award where they feel like this person's really gonna make it and you're the standout
Okay.
in your class.
Okay.
So I got valedictorian, got advanced achiever award. I'm like, come on, after this, I should be good.
Mm.
And then
Mhm.
after that, I was like, man, I still can't find a job. I was trying to go after like radio host jobs. I was going after just board operator jobs. I was going the simplest things. Then I was like, you know what?
Wow.
Forget it. Let me try patient registration at this local hospital.
Oh my good. Well, look,
I was like
you were about to
receptionist.
be in the healthcare industry too.
I was like, they
After
might need a
all that.
receptionist. I'll answer a phone. Look, I was desperate. My mom was
Yeah.
getting frustrated. She was like,
Yeah.
what is happening? Like, why are you just not? I was like, I know. I'm
Yeah.
trying. It was difficult, but um it was so hard to find a job. And I ended up becoming a freelance reporter for a local newspaper.
Okay.
$35 per story, $15 if I took a photo.
Wow.
Girl, I wasn't making nothing because all that
Yeah.
together is just basically $50 a story in total.
Yeah.
And that was like I learned so much doing that. I think I went on a tour with Steny Hoyer, our Congress person. I went on a tour with him on the Weather Center at University of Maryland. I was with you. I was doing a lot of different stories, and I really liked it. I just wasn't making enough money from it.
Yeah.
But I was taking anything I could get at that point just to start me on my career.
And what do
And
you think it is? What do you think it is that makes breaking in so hard?
it's tough because they want you to have the experience already. And it's like, wait, I'm coming to you for the experience.
Exactly. That's going to say, but how do you get the experience?
How do I get the
Yeah.
experience? And you know what? I had to be willing to be like, I had to work my way up, and I had to be willing to be like, okay, I'm going to work my way up because I know this is just a starting point. That's it.
Yeah.
It's just a starting point, and I'm going to get to where I need to get to.
Okay.
But it was rough because I mean, imagine making. I only started off doing like 2 stories a week, so I was only making like $100 like a week, and then like that was rough. Those are rough times.
And this isn't uncommon. I've heard this before.
You heard that? Okay.
Yeah, in this industry for sure, because they know everyone. It's very competitive. Everyone is trying to get these jobs, these internships, and so they're willing.
That are getting ahead of you. There's people more experienced who are ahead of you. There's people with
and willing to work for free, even with that experience.
They're willing to work for free. They have somebody taking care of them. They, they're like, and I have my parents were technically like, they were like, look, we'll help you, but right now we need you to get a job. Your focus needs to be job. Okay. So I started off at the PG Sentinel newspaper, and they were giving me $50 a story, and that was a little rough, and but it was good. I enjoyed my beat. I was a features reporter, and I did like I did I covered Bowie City government. Okay. So I did features, Bowie City government, and then I got another job at a different newspaper, a bigger newspaper. And then I would cover features, and I would cover local town government for Indian Head, where they had like the first youngest mayor like ever. So I got to work with him, and La Plata. And they gave me a plaque. They gave me a plaque when I, because they were like, look, we were not getting coverage, and now all of a sudden we get coverage. They were like, we would never be on the front page. This is the first time like we've ever dealt with this, and I opened a lot of doors, in regards to them. So it was fun. I got to do that. I got paid a little bit more, more, $30,000.
Okay,
Still
and a plaque. And a plaque.
Still not great. Still not balling. But while I was working there, I started commenting on TMZ Live, because TMZ slid in my DMs and was like, hey, can you comment on our show today? And I was like, oh, yes. But they do that for everybody. Like they're looking for people to comment. So it's great. I was on at first every single week. I was once a week. Every week I was on. Okay. Then I was like, okay, let's slow it down. Let's do once a month, once or twice a month, once by phone, once by video. And it was free. I wasn't getting paid for it or anything.
Well, give me the timeline for this. At what point are you working in La Plata, and then kind of discovered?
This all at the same time. So I don't know if I was on crack or like what drug I was on. I can't even tell you that. I myself don't understand what I was doing. I don't get it. I was working for Southern Maryland newspapers as a reporter, doing features and covering La Plata and Indian Head stuff. But then I was also commenting on TMZ Live like once every other week. And then I worked for a blog, The Bobby Pin. She's like a national producer now. I was going to different movie like premieres and critiquing it for her. So I was doing that. That's what I don't know what drug I was on. Like I really don't know. I think I was hungry for it. I was hungry for it, and I said nothing is finna stop my shine. Like I was when I tell you I wanted it so badly, I wanted it so badly. And I was like, nothing is gonna stop me. So that's why I was like, my hand needs to be in every single thing. Then in addition to those things, you're gonna be mad, but I was doing 2 radio shows, one on Saturday, one on Friday night. And it was like, one was pre-recorded, one was live. Wow. And I remember, I think I did sleep during these times, but I don't remember actually if I was sleeping. I don't remember. I was just so hungry. I wanted
Yeah,
it badly. And people around you are hungry too, and they want it more than you
exactly.
do.
Yeah.
So you have to really like I had to step my game up. And
And
then
where are you living? Because you've given me places all across the DMV area
she said, "What are
and
you really
beyond.
doing? How did you get, girl?" And these were all, some of these were free, and the rest of the stuff was like, the only thing that was actually paying me was the 30,000 a year job,
Mm,
my reporting job. And like I'm living at home. I'm living at home
okay.
with my parents. I think I'm like, okay, this is good. And they're just like, wow, you are hustling. Like you're
Yeah.
hustling, you're grinding. But the only thing, I think they were worried about my sleeping. I think I wasn't
Yeah.
sleeping as often. I didn't care. I needed to grind
Yeah.
or else I'm not going to make it. And then, so that was from 2015, 2016 to maybe like to 2017. And in 2017, I got a job at Fox 45 as an assignment editor.
Okay.
So I think a lot of people don't know that like I technically am an assignment editor. Like I started off as an assignment editor, just like
Ah.
most of these big names
Mm-hmm.
all started off as assignment editors.
So tell us a little bit more about that role, assignment
So
editor.
the assignment editor role, you are the eyes and ears of the newsroom. You're the
Okay.
eyes and ears of the newsroom. Basically, you're answering phones for the tip line. In addition to that, you're also you're writing web stories. You're handling the social media for the station. You're
Mm.
involved in everything. You're yelling out news as it's happening. You're listening to police scanners. You're like, oh, I hear this. It's
Wow.
happening. Somebody just got robbed. Okay, when I'm hearing this, there's a shooting, and you're the eyes and ears of the newsroom. Like everything goes through you.
Okay.
And like that's what an assignment editor. I had no idea what an assignment editor was, but it looked like fun online. I was like, this looks great. Let's do. It said social media. Are you a news junkie? It was like, I said, you are selling this. This looks great. And then I got there. I almost ran on my first day because
Mm.
they had some guy had shot up a bus in Dundalk, Maryland, Baltimore County. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like on it. This is breaking news. We gotta get this person here, this person here. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh no, this is too
Okay.
chaotic for
So
me.
you are also rounding up the talent, the subject matter expert.
Yes, like you have to
Okay.
sometimes book somebody for them, and then you also have to assign who your reporter and camera people who are going to work together for the day.
Okay. So a team.
So you have to assign those people too. So you have to.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of your first jobs you're going to do. Then there's also events in the schedule, and you're like, okay, I can send a camera to this event. I can send a camera to this event.
Mm-hmm.
This is happening. Like, oh, it's a community event. I can send a camera here. Something feel goodish, you know.
Okay.
So you have
Okay.
to like. You're really like everything really does go through you as an assignment editor.
Mm.
And I was writing web stories. I'm still am. I'm writing web stories.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's very interesting. It's so much fun, but it's a lot. It's
It sounds
so
like a lot. And it sounds like a lot for a first day because
ooh.
it sounds to me like you would need to know, the right cameraman, the right
You
on-air
gotta know,
personality
like
to
you gotta know who
prepare
goes
these
with
people
who.
together. Exactly.
I had to
Exactly.
develop a system, girl. It was crazy. I was like, man, this is a lot. But you know what? It literally shaped me to be who I am, because if I didn't learn the assignment desk,
Mm-hmm.
how was I gonna become like on the lifestyle show? Now my obsession is celebrity news. I will tell you
Okay.
that. I
Okay.
like news in general, but my obsession is celebrity news and entertainment news.
Okay.
So I knew that. I was like, you know what? I'm here. I like all kind of news. This is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But I really want to do something with entertainment news. And I think they had like a correspondent. They had an entertainment reporter person who was there, but she got pregnant, so she left. So I was
Mm-hmm.
trying to fill in that spot, and I was like, I got a new way of doing how we talk about things, and it's called spilling the tea, and everybody's talking about spilling the
Mm.
tea, and
Okay.
that's how I pitched it. And one thing I want people to learn how to do is pitch yourself. You need to learn how to pitch yourself, because
Okay.
that's how you get in the door. And just because you don't see what you want to do at a TV station, or if you don't see it at a company, you
Mm-hmm.
don't know you can open that door to it. It's all about
Yes.
how you pitch yourself.
Yes.
And shout out to my girl Chardell Moore, our previous lifestyle host. She literally told me, she said, here's what you're going to do. She said, you're going to start doing videos on your own. You're hilarious. She was like, start doing videos on your own. Start talking entertainment news on your own.
Okay.
Start talking entertainment news on your own. Start doing it on your own with your phone, and then clip it, cut it, edit it, put it together. And I said, okay, all right, I can do that. And I called it Lady T News Now. And I would do it like once a week, every week. And then I'm like, this is exhausting. I don't want to do this no more. In addition to this job.
And what are you doing with it at this point? Where are you distributing it? Who are you passing it along to?
I'm putting it on my Lady T page. That was another thing I'm so glad my alma mater taught me. Create a like page. One of those like pages where somebody can, you know, follow you. If you don't want people to follow your actual personal page, create a like page. And I was putting the videos on there. I was putting it on my personal page. I was putting it on my Twitter, my Instagram, I was putting it places. And what you're doing is you're building your following. Because your brand, you're trying to expand your brand. And I was like, I don't understand what any of these words mean, but but now I do. I know what that means now. You're building your brand. Your brand is, who are you? She told me, Chardell Moore, she told me create a website. I was like, what? I literally went home, create a website with Wix. It's, what are you willing to do to get to where you want to be? That's like, what
and this is, you said this is 2017 at this point?
This was 2019. This was like 2018. So, 2018.
Yeah. So people are taking full advantage of Instagram at this point to brand themselves. And
she was like, she was very specific in what she would tell me to do. And then she said, okay, now you're doing the videos. You pitched yourself. I pitched myself to the news department. They were like, you know, we're not really interested in that. I said, okay, fine. And then I said, can I pitch myself upstairs to BMore Lifestyle? They were like, our news director was like, sure. Went upstairs, pitched myself to them. They said, oh, we've been looking to spice up the show. This is perfect. So what are you thinking? How do we get the photos? How do we get this? How do we get that? And I have to say, the people who vouched for me, the executive producer of the Lifestyle Show, the producer of the Lifestyle Show, they were just like, oh, we like this. And it was like how I was pitching it. I said, look at who, you know, this is how many people are looking at the videos that I'm doing. I'm funny. I have the personality for it. We can make this work. And you show them how you can make it work. And it was like, all right, let's try it. Then it went from let's try it to, okay, you want every week, once a week, every week.
Wow.
Then it was like, okay, but I'm still an assignment editor during this time. So I'm leaving the desk briefly to go, you know,
because you're pitching at this point, you're pitching a segment.
Yeah, I'm pitching my Spilling the Tea segment. At that point, I was pitching it. And then when, you know, but I always wanted to like make sure that like, okay, it stayed how I wanted it, you know, a little bit. It was a great experience because you really need to know how to pitch yourself. And I keep telling people that I'm like, you gotta learn how to pitch yourself. Here's what I said. I basically was like, listen, these are the videos I can do. Let's talk about the trending topics, the things that are happening. Here's the celebrity news part of it. Here's what Rihanna's doing. Here's what Cardi B is doing. Here's what's new with this. And it was something they didn't have on the show. And it just needed something to spice it up. You never know what people are looking for. You know, in regards to spicing it up. And then I learned how to pitch myself, and listen, it took off from there because I learned.
And is this where you became the persona Lady T, or were you already Lady T?
Oh, I was already Lady T.
Okay.
I was already Lady T.
So we're gonna backtrack then, because I want to hear the evolution of Lady T too.
Oh no, girl! It started off. It was like we had like a go-go band at my church, and like everybody came up with their own names, and I was like, I'm Lady T, and I was like. And it was just like, they were like, okay, Lady T, we like that. And then I would host our church events, our youth events, or just any event at that point. I just started emceeing the church events, and it would be like, oh, that's Lady T. And it stuck with me. And then even in college, I was like, yeah, I go by Lady T. And everybody was like, oh, I like that. And I never forget, one person did tell me, they were like, I think you should just keep your name as Tiffany. I don't like the Lady T.
There's always one.
Like, it was a person who was so near and dear to me, and they were like, "Yeah, I don't like it," and I almost gave it up. Like I almost gave it up. And I know there's a lot of Lady T's. So when it came to me learning about branding, I had to figure out how to make the Lady T thing like work. And so I realized I was like, I got to come up with something catchy, like. I had to come up with something like catchy. So then I started with My Fair Lady T. And then And then that picked up. Like, people love saying it. You know, I know it's part movie, but I just needed something that flowed. So my whole brand is My Fair Lady T.
Yeah.
And, you know, because there's a bunch of Lady T's out there, and shout out to all of them, because y'all got it. But in developing your own brand, you have to like what it is that you come up with. And you have to be able to say it wherever
you got to represent it well.
You have to represent it. And there are people, like, sometimes you pick things and you're like, I kind of like it. Oh, it just looks good. Oh, no, you really have to like put on for your brand. Like, I am My Fair Lady T. My website, myfairladyt.net. All of my social media matches. You gotta make sure all your social media matches My Fair Lady T on everything. So like everywhere is My Fair Lady T. Just, you know, you keep it, you know, has to kind of like collaborate with each other. It comes full circle. So everything, My Fair Lady T on everything. And like, that was the evolution of Lady T. It caught on. People just liked it. And then now they're like, okay, Lady T, My Fair Lady T. You know, it is. I made it. I was like, look, this is what it is. And that's it.
And for consistency, like you said, building your following, being able to have those credentials behind you as you continue to pitch yourself. So now you've got this following who knows and supports Lady T when you approach Fox 45 to develop this segment.
Yes.
And so how does spilling the tea evolve out of that? You know what? Let's wait until next week to get that tea. This is where we're going to pause, and we're going to pick up next week with part 2 with Lady T. She's going to tell us how she became the on-air personality we know and love at Fox 45 today, and what's next for the media personality who never sleeps and must have been on something. Her words, not mine. And also next week, the visuals to the full conversation will be available on YouTube. So head on over to my YouTube channel right now to subscribe to the channel and get notified as soon as Lady T's episode releases next week. So you can go to youtube.com/the it's Marceia Cork, ITS Marceia Cork, or search Marceia Cork from YouTube. All right. So with as much fun as we had in this conversation, you can only imagine just how fun it's going to be seeing those visuals. That's definitely going to be a good time. Okay. So if you're a new listener, I hope you enjoyed this episode and that you'll follow the show right now. I release a new episode every Monday. Until next week, MCs. Bye-bye.